there's a time and a place to be skeptical and realistic, and Met fans, today is not that time, nor is it that place. Mets got a season. And I don't know how the hell the Mets have a season from the first 5 games and what that slop fest looked like. And Senga still hasn't pitched, and Lindor with his early issues, and Pete's been, intermittently okay. And the kids got sent down, and this guy got hurt, and this guy's not performing. Marte looks cooked. McNeil looks awful. The New York Mets right now, as we sit here in the middle of June, and I say this with great pleasure. Like, people think I'm joking. People think that I want to see the Mets stumble. I don't. I want to see them stumble against the Yankees in the Subway Series, but I want the Mets fans to have something to gravitate to. The team that just swept, whatever it was, 10 days or so ago, the Nationals, they right now are tied for the 3rd and final wild card spot with the team that just swept this weekend, the San Diego Padres. So I understand it's still a long way to go. This is the first time, I'm going to lean into it because they have earned it, that the Met fan can wake up and walk around and say, you know what? Why can't we be a playoff team? And I hope to hell that my partner is going to share in this enthusiasm.
I'm not there yet.
You suck.
Here's what I'll say is they have my attention. I'm very happy. Hey, the Mets are the hottest team in Major League Baseball. I don't care what you say, what I say. The New York Mets are the hottest team in Major League Baseball. It's refreshing to watch them actually play games the way that games should be played. Lindor with a big home run yesterday. I thought that was important where you figure, all right, well, they at least won 2 out of 3. They get behind early, but he answers back with a big home run. So there's been plenty of moments, and it's not just him. It's plenty of guys we could get throughout the course of the show. I'm not there yet. Like, yeah, okay, they won 5 in a row. They've been hot, 8 of 10, whatever it may be. Diaz back, maybe Senga on the way. They're still the 3rd worst team in the National League. They're still under 500. They needed to do this to get the attention back. But can
I ask you a question, Sal?
I can't find it, yeah.
All right, I got a question for Sal. So you say that you're not there yet, and I understand that. But I want a little more clarity. Specifically what you mean. Obviously, nobody's going to sit here and anoint the Mets a World Series contender. But when you say, quote, I'm not there yet, do you mean you're not there yet as a team that could actually get the 3rd wild card?
Yeah.
Do you mean beyond?
I don't believe in them. I don't believe in them. I don't think they're a good team. I don't believe in them at all.
Okay,
that's just how I feel. I want to be excited today. I'd love to come on today and needle you. But yeah, PT, I told you, Mets are going to be. It's not in me. Now, I'm excited that they're playing well. Don't get me wrong. A Met fan should be excited here. If you are a Met fan who's believed in this team, good for you. And they've won 5 straight. They're proving you're right, getting back into the mix of things. If you're a fan who's been down on this team, but you want to have a season, like that's kind of where I'm at. I want to enjoy a season here. But I'm also thinking big picture, and my heart does not believe in this team. They have proved me wrong over the last week. I didn't even think they'd win 5 in a row. Fine. They're still under 500. There's still only 2 teams in the National League that have worse records than they do.
Oh, we keep saying they're still under 500. They're getting closer and closer to not allowing us to say that anymore.
Well, what I say, we said the 14-game stretch, I said 9 and 5.
I
right?
even said 8 and 6 would be acceptable. And
they're
a whole heck of a, I don't know exactly, but it's a lot better. I mean, it's a lot better. Yeah, we'll check that out. Listen, I think that no matter how I want to say this the right way. Damn it. No matter how. All right.
Yeah.
This team is making me a little confused. I'll tell you why. There comes a point where you have to just acknowledge what they've done.
Correct, and they've done a nice job getting back in.
That's what I'm saying. And listen, I don't believe in the core. Does anybody really want to hear that today?
No.
No. And listen, if you needed to hear it, I wouldn't care if people didn't want to hear it. I would say it. I don't think you need to hear it today. I know you don't want to hear it. I don't think you need to hear it. But no, I don't believe in the core. Doesn't matter. There comes a point when a group of men in pro sports makes you reconsider on the lowest level who they are and how they started, what they morphed into at their absolute lowest point when they couldn't beat anybody, and how they've regenerated they've earned my respect.
You know, Mendoza's been great. He's been, to me, the main reason. J.D. Martinez, not only with his bat, and obviously he's been the veteran.
Oh, he's been on fire, man. He's been really
But that's
good.
that's why fans like us were screaming, get a real DH.
Yep.
Get a real professional hitter in there. And that's what he is. But it's more than that. It's his impact. You heard about the team meeting, the infamous team meeting, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And then J.D. Martinez says after, like, basically we just said, what's the worst that could happen? We lose? Okay, we've been doing that anyway. Take the pressure off. And since then, they've been playing much better baseball. So having his presence there, Lindor obviously getting hot. You know, you saw Pete yesterday start to get going. I still need to see a lot more. However, you know, 5 in a row is 5 in a row, and working their way back into the conversation. We said 9-5 over the 14-game stretch ahead of the Yankees series. Still have ways to go here, but certainly sweeping the Padres, where I thought on Friday night it would all fall apart. I mean, they were lucky to beat the Marlins. They barely beat the Marlins 2 out of 3.
I know.
So I can't just.
But
go
what about
nuts.
the games that they barely lost? I mean, you know, why do we contextualize? Legitimate question, like not just applying to the Mets here, but why do we seem to, when teams that we don't really fully know or understand, I feel like we tend to minimize the wins and overstate the losses and add context and layers of context to games that they should have lost but didn't. But we don't do that when they win games that they shouldn't.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, they could say that because there was the Mets have lost more one-run games or the blown the late leads. Remember when Diaz wasn't going well and then they had to move him. So, yeah, I mean, that's part of it. If you take back some of those games, could the Mets be a wild card team or 500? Sure. I mean, look at the standings. Like, I don't look at the standings, and I'm glad the Mets are saying they don't look at the standings either. But the reality is they shouldn't be looking at the standings because there's only 2 teams behind them. So there's everybody in front of them. It's about how they play. So forget about the standings. Forget about the wild card for a second. It's about how they play. Fact. They are playing much better baseball. That is a fact. If you ignored everything that happened prior to this weekend, you would look at this team and say, all right, this team has a shot to be a playoff team. Maybe that's all that matters in their mind. Maybe that's all that matters now moving forward. We don't know. I've seen more, though, than just this weekend, and that's why I'm not there yet. I'm happy for them. I'm excited for it. The fact that we could come on and talk about the Mets and their season, they've got my attention now. So tonight against the Rangers, all of a sudden, it means something now.
A little different energy.
When you're 11 under, it doesn't mean anything. Now it means something.
888-808-1019, BT and Sal, Brandon, Tierney, Sal, the kind of show on the Fan inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Friends of Town Fair remind you, you always get the guarantee lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. We'll
6-2. I'm sorry, BT.
Yes,
6-2 so far.
Correct.
We said 14-game stretch starting with the first game. This was after the sweep of the Nationals.
Yep.
Starting with the first game in London against the Phillies.
You wanted 9 wins. I thought 8 would suffice. Right now, they're 6-2. They've got 6 to go.
3
way ahead of pace.
And it's before the Subway Series.
Yeah.
3 at Texas.
Yeah.
3 at Chicago.
You know, I want to do something here as well. I want to issue, I don't think I've ever done this. I want to issue a personal challenge to a single player. And I'm going to issue a personal challenge right now to Pete Alonso. You want to stay here, Pete? You want to be a Met? You want to be a Met for a long time? Let yesterday's bomb be a foreshadow of what you're about to do for the next month. Show the Mets. Make the Mets keep you. Because right now, you are very expendable, my friend. But we know, because we watch Pete play a lot of baseball, that man is capable of putting the Mets on his back for 15, 20 games. They're doing this without him. They're doing this with a creaky J.D. Martinez and, kind of piecing this thing together. You want a contract, 6 years, 7 years, lifelong Met, greatest Met position player of all time. Take it up now and take this team to a place that I didn't think you had a chance to get to going back, honestly, even going to the Padres series. Think they had any chance? You want to be that guy? Because I still don't think that you are, with all due respect. You want to be that guy, shove it down my throat, shove it down the Mets' throats, who have disrespected you in your eyes with the contract they've already offered, and show us why you should be here forever.
And don't you think that if the Mets are to be a playoff team or go on a legit run, it's going to be because Pete Alonso is going to get going?
Yep.
And that's maybe part of the reason. It was encouraging yesterday. Did you happen to catch his post-game on field with Steve Gelbs?
I did not catch that. I caught a lot of the game. I didn't see the post-game.
He didn't say anything bad.
Okay.
But he just, to me, I'm getting the sense that Alonso is he's not – I'm not saying he's not happy here or not happy with the Mets. I think he's not fully being himself because he's wearing the pressure and struggles of a walk season.
Yeah.
And he's giving you the canned answers where Alonso usually wasn't like that.
Well, the last time he didn't give us a canned answer, and he dropped the F-bomb and everybody lit him up.
Yeah,
so what do you want? I remember seeing that when he dropped that with Gelbs.
I want him to be himself.
Okay.
We can criticize him, but be yourself.
Yeah.
And right now I'm getting the sense that we're watching a restricted thinking
Careful.
about yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not him, especially off of a day like yesterday. He seems like he's just he seems
Does it seem like he's checked out?
Yes.
Like he's
Whoa,
like not only that he doesn't want to do well, but that he thinks that he's maybe gone.
Correct. That's the sense that I'm getting. Like he feels like the damage, and I'm not talking about his relationship with the Mets. I have no idea. Or his relationship with the fan base. But let's not pretend that he doesn't have any idea or sense of what's going on.
He does. He's no dummy. But listen, you're in your prime, okay? You are in your absolute prime. There's been a lot of discourse about Pete Alonso. Should he stay? Should he go? I know this is about the Mets big picture, but Pete, you want to stay? Let yesterday be the start. And show us why you should be here.
And they're tied together. Look, we can knock Lindor all we want. Lindor got it going.
Yeah.
And it's a big reason why the Mets have been playing better. I don't care if it's the leadoff spot, the team meeting, whatever it is, Francisco Lindor has been a main contributor. To me, no bigger hit than the home run yesterday to tie that game bottom of the first inning. Just set the tone nicely for Lindor, a guy who struggled here in key spots. So Lindor has done his job. J.D. Martinez has done his job. Will Pete do his? If all their better players play to the best of their abilities, then they are going to be a playoff team.
And that should excite Met fans. 888-808-1019. BT and Sal, where you at, Met fans? Joe's in Brooklyn. What's happening, Joe? Good morning.
Gentlemen, good morning. Always a pleasure. I really appreciate you taking my calls.
You got it, Joe.
I couldn't agree with you more, BT, on Alonso. That's first. Couldn't agree with you more, Sal. And I'm with you 100% on. I'm not getting sucked back in yet. And I mean, I got to see more. They've tugged on the heartstrings way too many times where they reel you in, and then their MO is they'll go to Texas, they'll start getting raped. So I'm with you on that. But could you guys comment on? Can I not have to do like jumping jacks and cartwheels every time the pitcher goes more than 5 innings? I mean, McGill went 5 innings again yesterday. Can they go 6? Could they go 7? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. The bullpen's going to get worn out. It's disgusting. It's like an event when they go more than 6 innings, these guys. You guys have a great day. Thank you.
All right, Joe. I mean, it doesn't sound – I mean, I get it. Not that what he said was wrong, but it seems like, there's a heavy level of skepticism, the length from the starters, and it didn't sound like he's all in. And that's fine, and I'm not all in on this Mets team doing anything special. I mean, but you better believe I'm at least partially in on them maybe being able to sustain this for a little bit.
Here's the thing.
Joe didn't seem like he's into it.
Tyler McGill going 5 innings, allowing just 2 runs, that's a win. Like, you take it. So I know what you're saying, Joe. You got to let it go. The days of the majority of pitchers going deeper in a game, 6, 7 innings, it's just not there. You cross your fingers, you say a prayer to the sports gods that Tyler McGill could get you through 5 innings, for goodness sake. And you got that. Now, the problem is I don't think their bullpen is particularly good. I know the numbers will say they've been better lately. Diaz back is going to help. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if any team could sustain starters going 5 innings every single day. So, but that's just part of the game today, especially with the Mets. Without their best pitcher, Kodai Senga hasn't pitched.
Which is another reason maybe you get a little excited if he comes back and he's good. There you go. Joe's in Peekskill with BT and Sal. Joe, what's happening?
Yeah, Sal, this one's for you. I'm a big Mets fan, and I know BT, you're a big Yankee fan. But I got to tell you, watching the last few games, there's life breathing back into this team. And you know what? Where there's life, there's hope. And where there's hope, just never know.
Yeah, look, they've got my attention. That's the best way I could say it, Joe. And you're right. Like, I was excited yesterday to watch that game where when they're 11 under, I got to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Just doesn't register, especially what was going on with the Knicks and Rangers or even the Yankees playing at a high level. Now, do I think the Mets are anywhere near a legitimate level? I don't, but it is nice to have a team that's winning some games here and looking like a solid baseball team. Alonso did say it in the postgame, we're doing everything, all facets of the game, playing some defense, pitching, bullpen, offense, getting going. Yeah, that's called baseball. That's what we want to see. So it's refreshing. And I will say that at least There's signs to be hopeful. There's encouraging signs about this team. I'm not there yet because, like the prior caller said, BT, I've seen too much. And maybe it's just me being scarred as a Met fan or with this group in particular. You know, why'd they have to start 0-5? Why'd they have to fall to 11 games under then? I didn't do that. They did that. So now what? Because they win a few in a row, they're still 4 games under, but I'm supposed to say, oh, I'm back to believing? No, season is back on to a certain extent. At least we have the season to let it see play out, but I'm not there yet. They need to do a lot more. Get to 500, get over 500. And then that starts another level. Like, they dug themselves such a deep hole.
Yeah.
They needed to get out of it.
They're out of the hole.
Well,
they're out of the hole that they dug. Now they've got to incrementally build on this. I think they've left the hole. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't go back.
And they're 4 games under, though,
I
BT.
understand that, but look at the two. That's why, and I said to start the show, the two teams, like if the season ended today, you've got the Nationals and the Padres tied for the final wild card. Mets just swept both of them.
Right. I get that.
So, like, you can look at it, yeah, there's a lot of teams in front of you, but a couple of teams in front of you, you're demonstrating that you're better than right now.
Right, so
or at least playing better than.
Right. And you're
Manny Machado's had an awful year. I mean, he's not healthy. He's got the hip pointer. So, I mean, is that really an anomaly that the Padres are struggling? They didn't do well last year with Juan Soto.
Right.
He's gone. They're still not doing well.
The
Padres are Dylan Cease is special.
Okay. If your argument is that could the Mets be as good as any of the crappy teams that are in front of them?
That's my only argument.
But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. 7 teams in front of them.
Yep.
Are they as good as any of those crappy teams?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, but are they actually good? So there's 2 different things. I believe they could be as good as any of those crappy 7. Now, 7 is a lot.
I know. But it's not September.
So think about how
June.
Think about how bad the Mets have had to be to let 7 crappy teams be in front of you.
And think about how good the Mets had to be to make sure that wasn't the fatal death blow.
Right.
Because, so I get it. This is what makes them hard to read. They were so bad, and now they prove to be pretty resilient. The answer is generally somewhere in between. If I say to you right now, Sal, magic number, third wild card, what's the number? Magic win total, a point of reference last year, Diamondbacks 84.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the same neighborhood.
I'm going to say 82, maybe, 82,
all right.
83.
There you go.
Can they get there, though? And then there's a whole other conversation that's maybe not for today.
Is it beneficial long term?
Correct.
Well, I'm not even getting into that today. That is a conversation.
I'm just telling you how I feel.
Understood. 888-808-1019. Met fans, how deeply are you pulled in? I know you've enjoyed this. So that's one thing to enjoy. Another thing to look at the situation and say, okay, this is sustainable. We can do X, Y, and Z.